You lie down on a mat of fresh grass over cool dash. Novelty. No smell. You lie down on a mat of fresh grass laid over cool dash. The smell is faint and clean. No insect crawl over your face. Archaeologists record this pattern at Border Cave, dated to about 200,000 years ago, older than most modern nations and long before agriculture. F01. This was not a one-site curiosity. Sibudu rock shelter preserves sedge mats topped with aromatic leaves in repeated layers dated to about 77,000 years ago, which sits between Border Cave's 200,000 years and Ohalo II's 23,000 years. Ohalo II, beside the Sea of Galilee, preserves brush hut floors and bedding in a waterlogged open camp, dated to about 23,000 years before present. F02, F03. Why do these distant sites show the same solutions? This video will name the sites and the chores. It will show the ingredients archaeologists actually found: grass, sedge mats, ash layers, and crushed leaves like Archaeobotanical at Sibudu. It will trace how repeating small tasks leads, over centuries, to benches, replastered floors, and even cover drains. F02, F01, F08, F09. The previous episode asked, who kept the night watch? The bones and hearths give no roster. Still, the domestic pattern points one way. Weaving, burning, and smoothing floors are tasks done where people sleep and care for children. That suggests these were household duties, rotated among group members rather than full-time professional sentinels. A tentative answer shaped by the limits of preservation. F11. Look closer at Sibudu. Excavators found bedding and ash stacked in repeated episodes. Layers of plant material alternate with thin ash seams. Sibudu's suites of episodes at about 77,000 years and Border Caves at about 200,000 years show a long, recurring habit across time and place. Not a single experiment. F02, F01. Border Cave preserves grass bedding sitting on reworked ash. The ash is not random hearth scatter. It lies beneath sleeping spots and shows evidence of small, repeated burns. That pattern reads like maintenance. Burn or replace bedding to reduce pests and refresh the surface. F01, F04. Open camps can preserve the same choices if conditions allow. Ohalo II was waterlogged and kept plant floors intact. Its brush huts and in-situ bedding date to about 23,000 years before present and give a rare outdoor snapshot of the same housekeeping decisions. That tells a second lesson. Preservation shapes what archaeologists find and likely undercounts how common housework really was. F03, F11. What did the procedure feel like? First, harvest sedges or grasses and weave them into a mat. Second, lay or sprinkle ash or burn the surface lightly to kill pests. Third, crush and spread aromatic leaves that release insect-repelling oils. Fourth, sleep on the fresh surface and repeat the cycle when needed. Border Cave and Sibudu preserve those ingredients in sequence. F01, F02, F04. How often did people run that cycle? The layers are episodes, not daily diaries. Some bedding seems sit close together. Others are separated by thicker deposits. Those gaps could represent weeks, months, or years. The archaeological record, biased by preservation, cannot yet fix a precise schedule. The repetition itself is the meaningful signal. F04, F11. Did the aromatic leaves actually repel insects? At Sibudu, the taxa include aromatic species, such as Archaeobotanical. Modern research on related plants shows volatile oils that can repel insects, so the interpretation is plausible. But direct entomological trials on the exact ancient bundles are limited. Experimental archaeology could measure the strength and duration of the effect. F02. What about labor and organization? The bones and artifacts do not list person hours. They do show repeated investment. People returned, relayed mats, and tended hearths. Repetition implies routines and shared tasks: weaving, gathering, burning, and cleaning. Who led those tasks? Household members, rotating teams, specialists. Remains an open question in the papers. F11. Now the payoff. Those tiny daily chores scale up. When households repeatedly separated cleaner, sleeping platforms from smoky hearth zones, they created fixed features. At Çatalhöyük, people replastered floors and built benches and platforms that keep sleeping areas cleaner. Scarabray preserves stone beds and dressers built into houses. Harappan cities later show planned streets and covered drains that move waste away from living surfaces. The technical logic is consistent. Keep living surfaces dry, clean, and separate from smoke and filth, and the village becomes engineered. F08, F07, F09. Sometimes the amplification is dramatic. Mezhyrich in Ukraine preserves large, oval mammoth bone houses dated to roughly 18,248 to 17,764 years before present. Those communal structures show how repeated domestic decisions, where to sleep, where to lay bedding, how to shield interiors, can produce shared architecture that supports larger, longer occupations. F06. Preservation bias hides a lot. Organic mats, leaves, and soft floors survive only in waterlogged or phytolith-rich contexts. Ohalo II preserves 23,000-year-old floors because they were waterlogged. Sibudu and Border Cave preserve 77,200 000-year bedding episodes because of exceptional conditions. Where preservation is poor, the daily work of housekeeping leaves little trace, so the surviving sites likely undercount how common these practices were. F03, F02, F01, F11. The final point is simple. A bed of grass over cooled ash was not decoration. It was a compact technology. Gather plants, weave a mat, layer ash, or burn lightly. Add aromatic leaves, repeat. That technology cut bites, improved sleep, and lowered nuisance pests. Over generations, repeated care produced cleaner floors, benches, and even public drains. The place people called home grew from many small labors, not from a single invention. F01, F02, F08, F09. If routine housekeeping reshaped settlement, who gave up sleep to guard the home? Watch the next episode on Who Kept the Night Watch.